keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, and flip. All right, so the only thing we can do with this question is take out our GCF. Go ahead and look at that, see if you can divide out the greatest common factor. And this one, you have to make your X. So those are the only two terms that can be factored. Only two expressions. So take a moment and factor down both of those. So the greatest common factor is the number that can, the largest number that we could take out of 5 and 15, which in this example is 5. So when I take out the 5, I'm left with X minus 3. What would be two numbers that multiply to be -5 and add to -4? Two numbers that multiply to be -5 but add to -4. Johan? -5 and +1. All right, so now we're ready to extend this, connect it together, and cancel out any common factors. And there's only one thing. Sometimes nothing cancels. But in this example, only one thing can cancel. So what's upstairs and downstairs that I can take away? X minus 5, good. Let's take that away. You cannot cross out the X plus 3 and the X minus 3. They're not the same. So my final answer would be 2 times X plus 3 on the top. And then I have 5X minus 3 and X plus 1 on the bottom. This would be my answer. All right, let's go to page 7 in our notes. We're going to add and subtract. So page 7. Kyron, page 7. He really like, man, you okay? You okay? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go to page 7. Now, when you're adding and subtracting, you have to have a common denominator. Now, we don't need that to multiply or divide, but we need that for addition and subtraction. So you don't have to write that down, but we are going to focus on finding our LCD. All right, so let's look at example 1. So the first thing we're going to do is break down our denominators. So let's start off with the 4B. 4B, if I were to make a cake with the 4, I'm going to make a cake. 4 is made up of 2 times 2. So 4B can be broken down to 2 times 2 times B. That's what 4B is. I'm breaking it down to the prime numbers. And then I have 10. Which 10 can be broken down to 2 times 5. So our LCD is what we get when I bring these together. Okay? So what do they both have? They both have a 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in my LCD pot. But I also need to add everything that I did not circle. So I need to add another 2, a 5, and a B. Because that's what I have that I did not circle. I have another 2, a 5, and a B. So go ahead and pick up your calculators. Figure out what you get when you take 2 times 2 times 5. Two times 2 times 5. You should get 20. That is that's my least common denominator. So I need to change both of these fractions so that they both have a 20b in my denominator. Okay? So to do that, we're multiplying. So let's take our first fraction. So I want you to look at what we wrote in the beginning here. So what did I write down here in green? What number or letter is written in green that I don't have in blue? So remember, the 4B has a 2, and a B. My LCD has a 2, a 5, and a B. So what's missing up here that's in my LCD? A 5. Good. So I'm multiplying this fraction by 5, top and bottom. Because you have to bring in what is missing from the LCD. Bring down your addition sign. You have 4c squared over 10. Now let's look at the red. I just have a 2 and a 5. There are 2 things down here in my LCD that I'm missing in 10. What 2 terms am I missing? So I only have 1, 2, and a 5. So what do I have in this row that's not here? B. A 2 and a B. So that's what I have to multiply this fraction by. Notice that after I bring in my LCD, both of these are the same. Would you agree that 4B times 5 and 10 times 2B are both 20B? Do they both give you 20B? All right, so that's what I want. So my denominator is 20B. Now let's go across. I want you to figure out what you get when you multiply the 7A times 5. What is 7A times 5? So Isaiah, what do you get when you take 7A times 5? 35A. Bring down the addition sign. Now let's do the same thing with our second fraction. 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. And then I have a B and I have a C squared. That is my final answer. That's what you get by adding those 2 fractions together. The most important thing here is finding your LCD. All right, any questions about that? Let's look at question B. All right, we're going to do the same thing. I want you to take that 9Y and break it down, and take the 6 zebra and break that down. Take a couple of minutes and break those both down. So if you're building a cake with the 9, build a cake. In other words, you're breaking it down to only prime numbers. So 3 can go into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 3 1 time. So I'm breaking 9y down to 3 times 3 times y. That's what I'm breaking down the 9y to. What do you think I'm breaking down 6z to? 2 times 3 times z. Good. All right, so now we're ready to build our LCD. All right, they both have a 3. So I'm going to put that in the pot. Now, everything that's not circled is what I'm going to have to add to the other fraction, which will make sense in a second. So I need to add a 3 and a y to the pot. And I also need to add a 2 and a z to the pot. I'll put a line through my z's because 2 and z look the same. So, all right, so I'm going to add to my pot a 3 and a y, a 2 and a z. So let's multiply these together. What's 3 times 3 times 2? Multiply your numbers. 3 times 3 times 2 is 18. And then y, z. That's my LCD. That's what my common denominator is going to change to. Or what my denominator is going to change to. So I have 2x over 9y. So you see in my 9y had a 3. What was missing here is the 2 and the z. That's what's in my pot that's not in the blue row. So I have to multiply the first fraction by 2z. Top and bottom. Bring down your subtraction sign. So here in my 6z's, I'm missing, because in my 6z is 2 times 3 times z. I'm missing a 3 and a y. All right, so when you look at these two, would you agree that both of these are going to multiply to give you the same thing, 18yz? All right, so let's go across. My denominator is 18yz. Now let's go across. I want you to multiply this together. 2x times 2z. 2x times 2z, and see what you get. And you're going to do the same thing with the 7y times 3y. So 2x times 2z is 4xz. 7y times 3y is 21y squared. And that would be your answer. All right, let's look at question C. Oh, sorry, it's not a question C. It's an example too. All right, so this one is a little different. This is together. This is a group, and this is a group. So the only factor in x plus 5 is x plus 5. And my second fraction has a denominator of x minus 3. So my LCD is x plus 5 and x minus 3. That's my LCD. My LCD is both factors together. So my first fraction is 1 over x plus 5. So which one of the factors am I missing? Am I missing? See, I already have an x plus 5. I need to multiply it by x minus 3. So this fraction is going to be multiplied by x minus 3. Bring down your addition sign. What's my second fraction? What do I need to multiply the second fraction by? X plus 5. All right, so when we have something like this, I recommend let's just write it as one fraction. So I'm going to write it as one fraction. This is my denominator. It doesn't matter the order that you write your denominator. It could be x plus 5, x minus 3, or it could be x minus 3, x plus 5. And then I just want you to go straight across and write every single thing that we see. So I want you to write 1 parentheses x minus 3 plus 2 parentheses x plus 5. Okay, go ahead and distribute. So multiply the first one by 1 and the second parentheses by 2. So 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Bring down the plus sign. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 5 is, what's 2 times 5? 10. Your last step is to look for like terms in the numerator. So in the numerator, you can add together your x's and your numbers. So go ahead and combine your like terms, and that would be your final answer. So 1x times 2x would be 3x. Negative 3 plus 10 is 7, and that would be your final answer. All right, one more, and then we'll start working through the homework together. Any questions before we do our last one? All right, let's look at this one here. So my LCD, because I have x minus 4, and then I have x plus 6, my LCD is x minus 4 and x plus 6. So let's go ahead and write this out. So I have x over x minus 4 So this is what I need. I need both. And I only have an x minus 4. So Josepha, what do you think I'm multiplying this fraction by? What is it missing that's in my LCD? X plus 6, top and bottom. Bring down your subtraction sign. 3 over x plus 6. So Maya, what am I missing on this fraction that I need in my LCD? Thank you, Maya and Kyron. So we have x minus 4. All right, so now what I want you to do, we're going to make one fraction. My LCD is in the bottom. I just want you to go straight across the top. First, you're going to write x times x plus 6. You're going to write that first. You're going to bring down your subtraction sign. And then you're going to have 3 times x minus 4. So take a moment. I want you to distribute. Multiply the first parentheses by x, the second one by a negative 3. Go ahead and distribute. And then you're combining your like terms and you're done. What is x times x plus 6?
X squared plus 6x.
Okay. I'm going to put that in red. And then when I multiply it, remember it's a negative 3. So that would be negative 3x plus 12. My last step would be to combine my like terms. So my final answer would be x squared plus 3x plus 12. All right, let's take out homework 2. Did everybody pick up homework 2 when you came in? It's in the front. Let's look at let's look at number 2 together and number 3. First thing first, can you write that this is due on Monday? And I realize that seniors probably won't be here Monday, so you could still turn it in Tuesday. But the official due date is Monday. This is when it's due. So let's look at question number 2. So the first thing I want you to do is break down these two to prime numbers. This is a short homework. It's only 8 questions. So let's break down that 6R. 6R can be broken down to 2 times 3 times R. What about 15p? 3 times 5 times p. So let's build our LCD. This is the most important part. The first thing you do is look for what they have in common. They both have a 3 in common. So that's going to go in my pot. And then everything that they don't have in common has to go in too. So I have to put in another 2, a 5, an R, and a P. I didn't put in the 2. Hold on. Let me erase that and do that again. We have to put in the 3, and then I have to put in a 2 and a 5 because that's what these two are. And then I also have to put in a P and an R. So all together, multiply this together and see what you get. Multiply your numbers together, see what you get for your LCD. And you should get 30 PR. I always put my letters in alphabetical order. So that's my LCD. So now we're ready to start multiplying. So 3P over 6R. Okay, so the 6R is missing a 5 and a P. Okay, so I need to add to that. I need to multiply this one by 5 and P. Bring down your subtraction sign. The 15P is missing the 2 and the R. We're going to multiply that by 2R. So my final answer, you go ahead and figure out what that would be. You're going to multiply this together and then minus whatever that is. So you finish it out from there. Multiply 3P times 5P. Bring down your subtraction sign. And multiply 5R times 2R. And it's all over 30 PR. All right, now let's look at 3. Let's look at number 3. You finish out number 2. Let's look at number 3. So my LCD, this is a group and this is a group. So my LCD is going to be C minus 7 times C plus 3. So I have 3 over C minus 7. What am I multiplying that fraction by? What factor is it missing? I need a C minus 7 and a C plus 3. Which one am I missing? All right, that's what you're going to multiply this one by. So for the second fraction, I have a C plus 3, but I need a C minus 7 and a C plus 3. So I have to multiply this one by C minus 7. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm not going to finish it out, but you're going to have 3 times C plus 3 plus 4 times C minus 7. That's all over your LCD. So in the numerator, you need to distribute and then combine your like terms.